In this video, I will teach you how to make bone broth at home. Bone broth is super easy to prepare. For the most part, all you have to do is watch the temperature and know how many hours you want your broth to simmer. If you have watched my video on the many benefits with drinking bone broth, or you've read about it somewhere else, I bet you will be motivated to make your own batch of this amazing drink. You can make bone broth with just about any animal. However, what you need to keep in mind is that the bigger the bones, the more time you should cook them. Cattle bones need the most, while the cooking time for fish bones should not exceed 1 hour. So, here we go. To make the most basic bone broth, you'll need 3 ingredients: bones, water, and vinegar. In this video, I've used cattle bones and tails. I would recommend cattle bones if this is your first time making bone broth. These bones can tolerate higher temperatures, and it's easier not to mess things up. Remember to choose bones you know will fit into your stock pot. Rinse the bones in cold water before proceeding. You can roast the bones in the oven at 250 degrees Celsius for about 10 to 30 minutes or until the bones are brown. Doing this will add flavor to your broth. Pour cold water to just above the bones. This is the part where many beginners get it wrong. Too much water and your end result will be a thin broth that doesn't gel. You don't want that. The next thing we'll need is a little acid to help extract all the good stuff from the bones. The most common thing to use is vinegar, which is what I've used here. Let it sit for 30 minutes to 1 hour before proceeding. Now for the cooking part. Bring the water to a boil and immediately turn down the heat to simmer temperature. Your stove and the size of your stock pot is what decides what heat level you should use to get the broth to simmer properly. The temperature should not be too high to destroy the broth, nor should it be so low that it doesn't extract the collagen and nutrients from the bones. You'll know you have the perfect temperature when you see small bubbles here and there. Put a lid on the stock pot and let time do rest of the work. I always cook cattle bones for a minimum of 24 hours, preferably 24 to 48 hours. Watch the temperature, as it sometimes can get too high when the lid is on. You can also add vegetables and spices to make your bone broth taste even better. Some people cook the vegetables with the bones from the start of the process, but I like to add them into the broth some hours before it has finished. When you consider your bone broth to be done, turn off the heat and let it cool for some time. I cooked this particular batch for 35 hours. Go find yourself a slotted spoon and take out the bones and residue. My dog loves it when I make bone broth because she knows she'll get some good stuff once I'm finished with the bones. Strain out the rest of the broth into containers. Always give some room and don't fill up all the way to the top. The top layer of the bone broth will be fat and can push up the lid when in the freezer. So there you have it. Not too complicated, right? You know your bone broth is perfect when it turns into a solid gel after a day or 2 in the fridge. Your broth will last 4 to 6 days in the fridge and several months in the freezer. So make sure you don't pour your finished product into very large containers. If you've been drinking bone broth over a longer period, leave a comment below on the changes and benefits it has done for you. Good luck and thanks for watching.